Well, we can get started with introductions regardless, since you can see us up here. So my name is Jeff. I'm the Group VP of Commerce Media here at Tenuity. So I head up our advertising services across all of the retailers that we work with: Amazon, Walmart, Instacart. The list goes on. And I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues here today: Lucas Nurmi from Amazon and Jamal Chin from Ancestry.com. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves briefly.
Hey guys, Lucas Nurmi, Senior Ad Tech Account Executive with Amazon Ads.
Yeah, and I'm Jamal Chin. I lead our global retail efforts at Ancestry. So yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you guys for joining us. And I get the privilege of asking these very intelligent gentlemen some questions. So we'll dive in. Imagine that there are 4 questions on the background in front of me, behind me. It's no surprise, I think, to any of us here that the world of retail media is getting more complex. It's changing by the day. It's one of the only constants that we face in life as marketers. But with that change, we're also seeing an explosion in the amount of tools that we have at our disposal as marketers to better understand the way that our consumers are buying products, to better understand the way that our customers are reaching our products, or maybe not reaching our products. And so we're faced with questions like, how do we understand how to reach the right audiences? Which audiences have the most value to you as a brand? Who do you want to be selling to? Who's going to drive the most long-term revenue for you and your brand? Questions like, how are customers reaching your products? And are you reaching those customers in the right way to drive them down the funnel, to get them to make that purchase, make that additional purchase? Possibly the most important question facing all of us today, any marketer: where do you spend your next dollar? None of us, well, mostly none of us have unlimited budgets. So we got to make decisions about where we're going to spend. And so we're going to dive in today to learn a little bit more about Amazon Marketing Cloud and the tools that it gives us to better understand. Oh, there's our questions.
Yeah.
The tools that it gives us to better understand how to reach the right customers. And we'll hear from Jamal about how Ancestry is kind of approaching these challenges. So with that, I'll turn it over to Lucas to talk a little bit more about AMC, and then I'll ask some questions.
Thanks, Jeff. Taking a step back before we jump into Marketing Cloud and data clean rooms, right? Like taking a look at the shifts that we're all feeling, regardless of your role. You're a CMO, you're a strategist, you're a product manager. You're probably hearing about changes that are happening, and it's challenging to keep up with, right? An explosion of media options, major evolutions in consumer device engagement behavior, and really how media is planned and measured. Some of those prominent changes, like I said, an increasingly diverse choice of media channels, and the ways that audiences are reached by those channels. Despite what our friends in product marketing think, the customer journey is not linear. It's not a funnel. And there's been changes to addressability, both due to industry change and regulatory shifts. And then probably front and center for all of us, right, is economic uncertainties that only bring measurement, return on investment, further under the microscope, under the magnifying lens. We believe brands need to reinvent themselves and adapt to thrive in this changing environment. The 3 challenges that we see, I'm sure, on the screen are all ones that each of you are able to relate to, at least one of these in the day-to-day of your job. Would love to talk a little bit about how AMC and our Marketing Cloud can be a solution to help you tackle these challenges head on. Advertisers tell us they need the ability for quality signals, both from publishers and themselves, to unify, consolidate data, and maximize the return. Solutions that can tap into a holistic view of your audiences, better understanding that non-linear customer journey. And most importantly, and near and dear to me, is durable measurement solutions that help you plan and inform your decision-making as a brand, or like Tenuity, as an agent. Clean rooms are an increasingly popular way for you to do this, and many retailers and tech companies are bringing these to the forefront. And at Amazon, we like to work with our partners like Tenuity to help brands understand how they can take advantage of clean room environments. What is a clean room, you've probably heard this term. A clean room is a secure, privacy-safe environment where publishers and brands can ingest quality signals and join them together to run queries over the top to answer the challenging questions that you don't just get when you're looking at 14, 7, 30 days, last touch attribution. AMC, we're the operator at Amazon Ads, and I'm sure you're familiar with others, NBCU, Google, Walmart, also hosting their own clean room solutions. One of the things that we'll get into a little bit later is the ability to upload your first party signals as a brand, CRM records, data signals from data lakes you might curate internally, CRM, DMP, CDP, all of the acronyms. And that big blue circle in the middle of the screen there, I'm a comm major. That's how I learned, very visual. That's the clean room. We call those an instance at AMC. That's a firewalled environment for signals to come in from publisher side and from brand side, again, to query and run analysis over the top and start to be able to better understand your ROI and take action upon what that data is starting to tell us. Take a look at Amazon Marketing Cloud, our clean room solution. It's a flexible ad tech environment to generate a wide range of marketing and business insights. It's secure, privacy safe, and hosted on Amazon Web Services. You need a fairly technical skill set, right? You have to have a data scientist, a data analytic person, a BI, if you want to use our UI, which you see on the right side of the screen there, or if you have more advanced resources, connecting to our API endpoints to run it through your own tech stack. A couple of examples of the analysis that you can perform or that Tenuity can perform on your behalf: mixed media analysis, omni-channel impact, and custom attribution to understand where all of the media impressions that you're serving touch the customer from introduction all the way through to conversion, loyalty, retention. To complement Amazon Ads datasets signals, late last year, we launched our first paid feature in the Marketing Cloud. We call it Shopping Insights. For simplistic terms, it's your organic data as a brand on Amazon. So you now have the ability to join your ads signals and your organic Amazon signals in the same place to build insights. Lift and lifetime value are probably the two that get talked about the most in the market. And as someone that's been in Amazon Ads really since the beginning, these are questions our advertisers, brands, partners have been asking us for years. And it's always kind of been just trust me, which is really hard to swallow and make informed decisions or go to your board and ask for more budget from.
But we do trust you, Lucas.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I have your trust, Jeff. We also recently launched an integration with Foursquare and their store visit data. So you can get signals from thousands of retailers, brick and mortar locations. And we plan to delight our customers with countless additional releases this year. And then just this week, we launched audiences in AMC. So you now have the ability to action upon what these signals are telling you in AMC. You can build audiences off of any data touch point in the clean room, push them into Amazon DSP, and activate them to reach consumers across the web.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucas. And the ability to action on that data and the steps that Amazon is taking to make that more possible is really exciting. And so now we're going to make this a little bit more conversational. And so keeping with the theme of asking questions, hopefully I'm asking the right questions that will be helpful for all of you. If I'm not, please come up after and ask us questions. We're available. So let's dive in. Our first question that we're kicking off with today is help us understand how Amazon Marketing Cloud can help an advertiser, can help a brand understand which ads are driving the most new sales, new customers for a business. Driving new customers is going to be the lifeblood for any of our clients. We can't just continue to fish in the same pond. So how do we expand our reach and get a wider audience that can buy our products? And so, Jamal, I'd love to hear from you on a little bit of background about maybe how Ancestry thinks about this, but also just in your broader experience, how you think about new customer acquisition. And then Lucas would love to hear your thoughts on how AMC can help.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and I'm excited to be here chatting about this. But essentially, like one of the things that before we even get into like the nitty gritty of like Amazon Marketing Cloud and things like that, the importance of understanding your overall business goals, right? Which KPIs mean the most? How do you determine success, and how Amazon fits into that overall business strategy? I think that's like the first question to ask before you kind of go. I'm on the in the sense of that, optimize before you advertise thing there. But yeah, my background's in CPG and, large catalogs focused on that kind of 80-20 profitability, subscribe and save. With Ancestry, it's a little bit different because we have a smaller catalog, right? So we sell DNA kits, and it's essentially a lead gen into our family history subscription product, right? So I'm really trying to understand how and if our ads are actually reaching the right customers, new customers, consumers that have not been exposed to brands or any of our products on the platform. And then we want to get more granular in the approach, beyond the baseline metrics of ROAS, TACOS, and ACOS and things like that. And so with Tenuity, we've been able to start to unlock some of these, be able to even ask the questions, and now trying to figure out the tools and processes to really try to unlock that using some of the AMC's capabilities. And now I'm focused more on the framework and how can we start to ask those questions rather than having the the nitty gritty and saying like, okay, like how do we test and do these different things? They've been able to help us to kind of unlock some of those opportunities.
Great point around, obviously the value of a new customer is going to vary depending on, your business model, right? And, the types of products that you're selling. Lucas, I know that AMC has been, developing a lot of capabilities to help brands kind of understand not just who their new customers are, but kind of how to take action against that. What advice would you give to a brand, like Ancestry, and thinking about that?
Yeah, for me, it's understanding what media types, what media formats are driving that new to brand conversion. On Amazon, we offer new to brand as an ad attributed metric in the ad console in Amazon DSP. And that looks at the Amazon channel only and someone that's converted in the last 12 months. But I would be surprised if there's anyone in the room that only works in one marketplace, right? So outside of understanding which ad exposed consumers are new to brand on Amazon, right, we can take that a step further with brand signals coming into the clean room to understand, has that consumer that purchased on Amazon that appears to be new to brand, are they actually new to brand for someone like Ancestry, or have they previously purchased a product in their environment?
Yeah, it's important to get that insight into where that customer is shopping, because like you said, their journey's not linear. They might be shopping elsewhere or clicking elsewhere. Yeah. And so kind of on that same note, even thinking about how brands define a repeat purchase, if Ancestry is on a subscription model, you might need a much longer look back window, whereas based on your experience with CPG, a lot of customers are going to be repeat buying consistently. And if they fall out of that funnel, maybe after a couple weeks or a month, they're lapsed. And so Jamal, help us understand a little bit about how you think about, lapsed customers and how you go after those to make sure that they come back or try and get them back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. I'll be very frank. We're still trying to figure out like how we kind of understand how we define it, but really for us, it's really the cross sell, right? So when somebody buys a kit, it's really hard for us because we have a serial number, and that's usually how we match apples to apples. With not being able to get that through Amazon, our accounting team does a little bit of magic to understand on the back end. So we look at it quarterly, right? So we can understand by our lot, the lot number on our kits that we sell within that quarter, if they activate their kit, and then they kind of attribute it, looking at it quarterly. And then if they buy it, let's say February, and then they convert their, put in their sample in like July, technically that's still a new customer in our eyes. So it's kind of a challenge that we're still trying to work around, like the best way to do that, with just not being able to get that serial number capture there. But then really when we look at it, we're just kind of looking at our new to brand is based on the Amazon window. So the last 12 months of that 365 days is what we consider a new customer. So we may get some people that, buy kits every year as a gift. We may still consider them as a new to brand. But we'll talk about how we're trying to do that down the road.
There's no silver bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. On the topic of new customer acquisition, staying on kind of how we can help our brands and help our companies reach new customers. One of the high quality pools that we've seen at Tenuity is trying to reach customers who might have searched for your product, might have landed on your product before, but not purchased, right? And so, we're not going to necessarily convert 100% of the customers that land on our pages as much as we'd like to. But with some of AMC's capabilities, we can start to understand who's been searching for your product, who's been searching category terms that might be related to your product that we might want to reach. Those are probably going to have a higher propensity to purchase, right? And so, Lucas, I'd love to hear from you about kind of AMC's capabilities there.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I mean, beyond targeting capabilities in the console, sponsored ads, sponsored display, Amazon DSP, you can now take that a step further with the AMC Audiences feature that I talked about at the very end of my AMC overview. So you can combine signals from all of our ad products, ad exposure, into first-party data. So you really have the ability now to make refined cohorts to reach from a targeting perspective within the DSP. So that's something I'm really excited to see come to market, and some of the early results are very, very compelling.
Yeah, that's definitely a feature that we're excited about. Not just having the data and seeing what's happening, but then being able to take the next step, building campaigns on it, taking action against it. Jamal, on that same note, I know that you're kind of thinking about testing some of these things for Ancestry. What do you got in the hopper that you're thinking about as it relates to kind of these things?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that stood out to us was the custom segments, right? Because again, back to that incrementality, new to brand, that's been the big push this year, is like, how do we get new eyeballs and how do we actually know? So the custom segments is really like what is really on our docket that we're kind of focused on. Because when you get into AMC, because I didn't know this until working with Tenuity, is that there's already some predisposed like queries that you can have in there. And so we were looking at like the pathing analysis and the path to purchase. But then they kind of let us know that we can start to build those custom segments to really see, okay, has this customer been exposed to a DSP ad, a sponsored product ad? And then you can kind of look at who's been exposed to none of that and then create those segments and then just advertise those customers themselves. And so that is where we're looking at truly targeting those net new customers, and using those AMC capabilities are helping us execute that.
Love it.
Love it as well. Very much looking forward to those.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit. I don't know if this is a full switch or a partial switch based on the keynote presentation, but so one of the things that can be really important for a lot of brands throughout the year are these key tentpole moments. We're coming up on Mother's Day. Prime Day will be following soon after that. Black Friday. These are some key events. Jamal, I know for Ancestry, these are important to kind of the lifeblood of your business. Yep. And so we'd love to hear, a little bit more about how AMC can help brands prepare for, more importantly, learn from these tentpole events. But Jamal, how do you guys at Ancestry think about kind of these tentpole moments and preparing for those for your business?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's familiar with our DNA kits, right, they're highly giftable, so very seasonal, right? And so promo events are huge for us. And like you said, they're the lifeblood. We see a lot of energy around, add to cart, save for laters and things of that nature, because consumers know that eventually we're going to go on sale, and because we kind of keep that cadence throughout the year, so there's no secret there. So I'm all preparing for T5 and holiday because that's kind of our Super Bowl, like most brands. We do the majority of our kit sales in the last 6 weeks of the year. So right now we're focused on, testing, figuring out all the levers that we can pull, Q1, Q2, Q3, taking those learnings and start to kind of solidify the strategy. And then Q4, it's all the focus on staying in stock and then executing to just try to, have a solid and round out, and finish strong for the year. So yeah, the tentpole events and learning is really crucial. And that's kind of what we're doing now. We had St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day. We've just launched this, Monday, I think it was. And then Father's Day, and then priming for Prime Day, and then holiday on the back half. So
and Jamal, I think that's one of the examples, right?
Yeah. So this is just an example of some of the our activation that you'll see in the wild right now that we have going. So we'll kind of talk about, we have a test going, and so using the same creatives, but you'll kind of see this with some of our performance as well as on Amazon. So DSP and our sponsored products. So this is what you'll see across the board for us. So just an example.
Awesome. Yeah, and Lucas, how do you think about when you're talking to your brands or your advertisers? Obviously, these tentpole moments are big for Amazon too. How do you talk to brands about preparing for them, and maybe some of the things within Amazon Marketing Cloud that can help?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fairly straightforward, right? Past is fairly prologue here. Mm-hmm. In AMC, data is retained for almost 13 months. I think it's 12 and a half months is how long it sits in the instance once it's ingested. So if you're a brand working to get access to AMC, right? The sooner you get going, the sooner you have the data in there, the longer those signals are gonna exist. So with Ancestry, right, as we've hit Mother's Day, it's taking all the data that we have around the previous tentpole, St. Patrick's Day, understanding what worked and replicating that well in advance.
I think you bring up an interesting point there too around, the fact that AMC can look back, 12 and a half, 13 months for data. And so one of the things that we do with all of our clients, and regardless of whether or not you're a client, I advise you to do this. You don't necessarily have to know what it is you're looking for, what you're going to be doing with the data to start collecting it. And so as soon as you sign up for that AMC instance and get it established, it starts collecting that data. So then you can then come back to it, right? But if you're waiting until a couple weeks before Mother's Day, you're not going to be able to look back at the prior year, right?
Yeah.
So, cool. Oops, sorry about that. Lucas, you kind of touched on something earlier around, brands not existing in just one channel. And obviously we're spending, a lot of our clients are spending dollars on Amazon, but they're spending dollars on other channels as well. And so, it's important for a lot of marketers to try and understand how those channels are working together. Customers are in different places. Customers are all around the internet. Marketers are trying to reach them in different places. Lucas, can you talk a little bit about how AMC can help advertisers understand how all these different channels are working together?
Yeah, I think one of the simplest ways to think about it, or a good place and crawl, walk, run approach, right, is taking a signal from Ancestry and understanding, okay, these people have subscribed to our subscription product in the last 30 days, but where were they reached prior to that subscription point, right? So it's possible that they converted through your trial on Amazon with a DNA kit, right? And then they come back to you 60, 90, 120 days later and start that subscription. So matching up first-party signal, third-party signal in Amazon, and running that overlap to understand like what media drove that outcome is something I'm really excited to be getting into with Tenuity this year and Ancestry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That marrying of that first-party data and that third-party data gives you that picture, right?
Yeah.
So, Lucas, kind of love some of the reports that you've mentioned, found them really valuable. Jamal, I know you've got some tests coming up that you're going to be looking at to kind of test some of these things out. Can you touch a little bit on what you got planned?
Yeah, omnichannel has become a buzzword for us, right? It was like really trying to figure out like how do we our off Amazon traffic pushing to Amazon, our storefront, and our PDP, just because it just converts so well. And so the team has been doing some testing around that. And so one test that we're really excited about coming out, we've got it already in launch right now with Mother's Day, is using that Amazon ad server. It's formerly Seismic. I had to learn that too, that it's now Amazon ad server and no more Seismic. But really, we're trying to understand that audience overlap, right? Because we started seeing that in our performance in the Google shopper that some of the ads are there. And then we have some of the ads running from our Amazon as well. And we're like, is there an overlap there? So that's what we're doing for Mother's Day is we're firing the same creatives to see, is that Amazon shopper the same as the Google shopper? And then running that overlap. And so hopefully with those results, we'll see, do we need to do something unique for these two different audiences? Because I know with our ACOM, we've kind of seen our demographics skew a little bit older, but when you look at the Amazon demographics in the shopper, it's a little bit younger. And so we haven't really done much for that younger demographic. So this is our first test to see, is there some overlap? And then will there be some unique tactics that we can kind of do based on the two different channels? And then one of the other things that we're really looking at is trying to, TikTok is huge right now. And so we've done some TikTok or influencer. And so Amazon has the Amazon brand referral program. I learned this in the last couple months, but it's essentially you have your custom attribution links and you give it to your influencers and push back to, for us, we're pushing back to PDPs, and then you get a kickback from Amazon for whenever they convert. So that's something that we're really excited about, is using the AMC and then some of these other tools within the attribution to all drive traffic back to Amazon and then see what kind of lift we can get, and then just trying to track. So
yeah, you could also tag that with Amazon ad server.
Yeah,
click an impression pixel and pull that signal into the clean room. We're starting to do some of those tests with Tenuity as well.
Yeah.
So super excited about being able to close that measurement gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely excited about those things. So we've touched a little bit on new customer acquisition today. Obviously, that's important for any brand's growth. Touched a little bit about kind of connecting some of these media channels and how they work together. But I think we're missing kind of one of the main variables, customer lifetime value. Acquiring new customers is great. Retaining them is oftentimes more profitable, even better. And so how do we turn that customer into a long-term customer? How do we turn that first-time buyer into a subscriber, or someone that's going to repeat purchase, over and over again? And so ideally, Jamal, for you, Ancestry is turning that net new customer into a subscriber. Or for any of our clients that have, repeat purchasable products, they're coming back over and over again to buy. But understanding what customers are going to represent the highest lifetime value is going to be pretty important to actually knowing who to target, right? And so, Lucas, I would love to hear a little bit from you about kind of how AMC can help brands understand the lifetime value that different types of customers provide, so that they know who to target.
Yeah, so Shopping Insights, which was our first paid feature released late last year, bringing organic Amazon signals, marrying it up, joining with Amazon ads signals, right? You can now look at someone who is ad exposed that converts one time, and then all of the additional conversions they have on Amazon over the course of the year, or on a brand's direct-to-consumer website with first-party data upload, and then look at what they spent. Maybe there was only one ad attributed conversion event that occurred. And if you're only looking at return on ad spend, you're thinking about it, in very short-sighted fashion. So now with Shopping Insights, you can literally see how much that shopper has spent the remainder of the year, even if they aren't coming in and falling into your ad attributed conversion events.
Yeah. Changes the ROAS calculation, right? If you're looking at the first sale and that first sale is worth $10, you spend $1 to get it, that'd be a great ROAS for a lot of brands.
Yeah.
But if that customer is now spending, $10 every month, you're 12xing the amount of value that new customer has. It kind of changes how you try and advertise and get them into your funnel, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And so, one of our, kind of wrap-up questions, Lucas, Amazon obviously is investing pretty heavily in kind of building some of these new capabilities. Why such a big bet here?
I think customer obsession is the simple answer, right? Like answering questions that when we launched sponsored ads in 2015, brands were like, well, how does DSP impact sponsored ads? And it was a shoulder shrug, right? Like we had analysis that looked at 80 brands across 40 different retail categories and, had a better together narrative. But now there's bespoke analysis that you can put together that Tenuity can run on your behalf to answer those questions that have been so long-standing in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Jamal, last one for you. You talked about a lot of tests that you're, about to run or in the process of running. It comes with some inherent risk, right? So what gives you the confidence to want to do that? Kind of why that mentality?
Yeah, shameless plug that we have a great partner in Tenuity that makes it easy for us to they bring a lot of opportunities to the table. But honestly, it goes back to that first kind of note I meant about like knowing your business and understanding what your leadership or the business cares about and how, Amazon specifically fits into the mold. And so I've been there 8 months. And so I've really focused on figuring out, okay, what matters? What does our business care about? And that's really set the trajectory of the metrics, the KPIs that we care about, which then leads into the questions and the type of tests that we have been able to do. So that's made it very easy to kind of say, okay, we can be confident in this, but then also on the measurement side, right, is we understand we want to ask these questions, we want to test this, and then figuring out ways that we can measure it. And again, it's kind of been a black box before with Amazon and DSP. Now that we're able to open up some of those insights and see that pathing and the purchase, it's made it to where we can go into these and have a little bit more confidence. But again, it goes back to our org is really a testing environment, but we're also understanding like, okay, how can we measure that? And it all focuses back to the bigger overall business goal. So.
Absolutely. Well, the red light's flashing and telling me to wrap it up. So
right
with that, thank you guys. We love feedback. Please feel free to take the survey. I believe it's available on that QR code. Let us know what you want to know, what you would like us to speak about. And like I said at the beginning, if you didn't feel like we asked the right questions, we're available for future discussion in the very near future right now. So we'll be kind of stationed at this room right out here. So please come up. In the speaker's lounge. So please come up if you have anything. Let us know, and we're happy to chat. And with that, enjoy your lunch.